tell you a story time on how people are crazy. I'm ready to fight.
Pretty mind, pretty grind. Yeah, I said what I said. Manifesting better things while we lay edges to bed.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Pretty Mind channel where we talk beauty, mindset, and everything in between. If you enjoy real talk, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're feeling generous. So today's video is part 3 of the insane Airbnb horror story times. If you haven't seen part 2 and part 1, go check it out. Let's get right into it.
Let me tell you a story time on how people are crazy. I'm ready to fight because people are crazy. But let me just comport myself and be respectful. I'm in Italy. Now, one thing about me is I'm Italian, parlo italiano. But not many people know that because I'm black. So when they see me, they think I'm a tourist. I stayed in 3 Airbnbs in Italy. The second one, which was the worst of them all, was in Napoli Centrale, which is the center of Napoli. Now, we stayed there for like 4 days, all good and dandy. We didn't really spend much time in the apartment. But we would leave in the morning, come back in the evening to sleep, right? When we left, we gave them a 5-star review. But as we were leaving, we asked if we could extend the stay. We were like, we don't mind paying for a little bit because our flight was later in the evening. So we were like, checkout is at 12, but if we could stay a bit longer, that would be great. The woman said no, because people are coming. So I was like, oh, I get it. Now, as we were leaving, the cleaner was coming to clean the apartment for the next people who would come at 2, I think. She came. Now, she doesn't know I speak Italian. She was speaking Italian on the phone, saying a few racist things, nothing we're surprised about. And then she was complaining. I don't know what she was complaining about, but I was like, listen, I'm going to the next Airbnb that we had booked. So I was like, that's your business. So, my sister leaves a 5-star review because this is my sister's account. She gets her review back from the owner. 1 star. Why 1 star, you may ask? The woman, and I quote, says, "You trashed the place. The place was so bad, we had to cancel the next guest." Now, I was confused. My sister said it to me like, what? So my sister says, can you explain to me how the place was trashed? Because we barely spent time in it, right? And I, oh my God, I still cannot believe it. She sends a picture of the crumbs on the floor. There is crumbs on the floor, like half a biscuit on the floor. Why, you may ask? As we were leaving, my sister has a 1-year-old. Her 1-year-old was getting a little bit antsy. So my sister says, here's a biscuit, we're leaving, okay? As I'm dragging the bags out, I see her handing my niece the biscuit. My niece must have taken a bite and some of the biscuit fell on the floor as we were leaving. This woman says we trashed the place. When we asked for proof, and Airbnb asked for proof, she sent a picture of crumbs on the floor. She was like, you left crumbs on the floor. I'm sorry. Now, listen, as I say this, there was no cleaning equipment in the house. There was no broom. I come from an Italian household. We sweep every day. So I remember looking for a broom. There was no broom. My sister even messaged her to be like, oh, next time leave a broom because we can, clean up here and there. So I would pick things up in my hands. My 1-year-old niece would drop something. I would pick it up because I hate sticky floors. Okay. So this woman left a 1-star review talking about we trashed the place because of crumbs on the floor. And I'm going to attach the picture so you guys see that I am not crazy. That is all she said. And she was like, and then you left the bin packed up in the corner. Yes, we cleaned up. We did you a favor. We left the bin on the corner. Well, I mean, were you supposed to, I don't know. Would you rather me leave it there? I helped the cleaner by taking the bin and kind of like, oh yeah, as she's cleaning up, she'll throw it. Because again, she left no bin bags. So I am just sitting there thinking, oh, obviously we know what this is. This is racism. She's trying to catch a case with Airbnb. Airbnb saw the picture, saw the review, and were like, you're crazy. And immediately told her to delete it. They made her take it down. Anyway, my sister, who's very classy, was like, I'm really disappointed because I don't understand what type of people you think we are. But she was like, I just wanted to tell you that I did understand what the cleaner was saying on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to. Very racist, but that kind of now tells me that you two are of the same, you're from the same world. Anyway, my sister was like, the reason we needed an apartment a bit longer was because Victor Osimhen, who, if you don't know, is a footballer. He's huge in Napoli, huge. He just won the AAC, I don't know, he won something in Naples, and he's bigger than Jesus right now in Naples. Every shop has his poster. So he was coming to see us, and that's why we needed an apartment. Anyway, she was like, I just wanted to tell you, you know, we needed an apartment because Victor Osimhen was coming, but it's a shame, and I'm so thankful that you turned us down. And when I tell you, this mom was pissed. She was like, oh, that's not what I meant. I didn't know you were that type of people. I didn't know. All this to say that racism sucks, but we know that already. What a shame. And if you watching this are a racist, find a good excuse. Don't be a Karen, okay? Find a good reason to attack someone, because then we can sort of understand you a little. But for you to be crazy over crumbs on the floor when we paid for cleaning? Jesus, come back soon, because we are tired. I'm tired. Are you guys tired?
What if you stayed at an Airbnb and the person in charge of the Airbnb told you, after a certain time of the night, if you hear 3 knocks on the door, do not answer? Would you still stay at that same Airbnb, or would you try and go somewhere else? If Ghost Talk pull a story about, of course, New Orleans, the French Quarter, very mystical and scary, I definitely want to go and visit one day. The host told the girl, let's call the girl Kate, I think that's her name, when you stay here, if at night after 11 o'clock you hear 3 knocks on the door, please do not go and answer it, just ignore it. It would have been enough for me to say, you know what, maybe I'm gonna look somewhere else. First night was okay. The second night she was watching TV and she heard like 3 soft knocks. Bam, bam, bam. She said she went and she looked through the peephole. She said when she looked, she said it was the most gorgeous guy she has ever seen in her life. You see how man can get in and trouble. Pale skin, nice hair, and the most gorgeous eyes. That melt now. But she remembered what the host told her. So she know through the door, hi, how you doing? May I help you? I left my charger inside. But, this is not the person that owned the Airbnb, and I was told not to let anybody in. Maybe it could be somebody that stayed at the Airbnb like in the day before or whenever. Said, okay, let me check for you. So hold on. And then she said, listening. And he kind of mumbled something that she couldn't really hear. So I guess without thinking, she cracked the door, because I guess this guy's so gorgeous and handsome. He said to her, got it, that's all I needed, and winked. And that was it. So she found it kind of strange and she closed back the door. You know, she was getting ready to go to her meeting. So she went in the shower, had her hot bath and everything. And when she came out, it was fogged up. And when she looked, she saw invited written on the mirror. She was wondering if the lady came in the apartment, snuck in the apartment, and wrote invited on the mirror. No, maybe because I'm black, or it could just be because I'm Jamaican. Me not stay there, sir. Called the lady, and she told the lady what happened with the invited. She said, were you in here? And whatever lady said to her, did you by any chance hear a knock, and did you open the door? Well, I didn't really open it all the way, but I cracked the door. The lady just got mad and hung up the phone on her, because the lady don't tell her what it is, and she's still. After the meeting, came back home watching TV. She noticed she started to see like some shadows, like figures running up and down in the house. First she thought it was like the reflection from the TV, but then she realized it was just shadows moving around. So when she looked outside, you know, like you feel like somebody's staring at you. When she looked outside, it was that same gorgeous stranger outside, just looking in on her. And all these shadows running up and down. Draw the blind, start to pack her bag, and then head out. No. All of that wouldn't have to happen for me to be gone. She started to tell me a story that after 11 o'clock, if you hear boom, 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 do not answer. I'm gonna get suspicious. Even if I'm not thinking it's no vampire, witch, I'm out of there.
you are an Airbnb host and you notice that in your Airbnb property, there are lights being cut on and off, doors opening and closing. Totally normal, right? It would be, except no one booked your Airbnb for this said night. The house is supposed to be completely empty. So you do what any reasonable person would do. You call the police. This happened to an Airbnb host in 2021. So this lady notices all this activity in her house and thinks that she's being burglarized. So she calls the police shows up, she explains the layout of the house, that there are 2 bedrooms upstairs, 1 downstairs, and that it should be completely empty because everyone that would have been in the house outside of Airbnb guests are out of town. So the police, fully expecting there to be an intruder, goes inside of the house and takes a look. And this is what their body cam footage picked up.
Anyone inside? I'm gonna check downstairs, you get upstairs. Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known. Downstairs clear. Downstairs clear? Yeah. Good.
The closets are empty because this is an Airbnb property. A lot of people were like, why didn't you turn on the lights? That poses a threat to the policeman that's investigating, because what if there was a real suspect in there? They needed to be inconspicuous, but this was absolutely creepy. And the Airbnb host said that she didn't know of any paranormal activities. I don't know if I believe that, or if she just got this rental property for the sake of being an Airbnb host. But just tell me what y'all think down in the comments, because this was absolutely crazy.
We just found out we were being watched in our Airbnb. Look at that little camera. I'll make this quick. There were 15 girls staying in a house for my friend's 30th birthday. One of our friends was like, guys, I'm really paranoid. I feel like there's cameras in the house. And we were like, girl, you watch way too much TikTok. There are no cameras in this house. You're just being dramatic. But she whipped out her flashlight and she went investigating. She looked in like every single shower head, all the picture frames, doorknobs, everywhere in the house for a camera. And she found one. And the bathroom faced directly to the shower. Look at that little camera. Which means we had been there for a night, like showering and things, and always check for cameras at your Airbnb and always listen to your super paranoid friends.
I think I just walked in on a double summoning thing. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. So I'm staying in an Airbnb for a couple of days because they're trying to fix something in my apartment. And I booked a room in a random apartment type thing. You know what I mean? And the host family is very nice. They've been very sweet. It's been a couple of days. They're like East European, but I don't know from where. Very lovely. They're always trying to feed me. The food looks a little bit like war rations and it's beige and gray all the time, but it's good. You know what I mean? Thank you. But today, like, I literally just walked out. Today, things switched the fuck up. Like, I don't know what to say. So I told them I was going to be out for the majority of the day, and I was. I came back after like 5-6 hours, you know what I mean? I get into the house, and usually like the living room is like well lit because they're always hanging out there, right? So I'm like opening the door, and like I realize like it's pitch black. Like I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe they're not home. You know what I mean? Not a big deal. All of a sudden, I hear someone screaming at me, close the fucking door. I was like, okay, whoa. Whoa! I go, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God. I walk in with my right foot. I'm like, I close the door. I'm like, hello? It's pitch black. They reorganized the fucking living room. There's one singular table in the middle of the living room, 4 chairs, 4 people living, like sitting around it. The husband and wife that are hosting me, and then 2 other older ladies. They're all holding hands, and there are candles around them. I'm shitting myself. I walk in and I'm like, no, I'm gonna get sacrificed, no. I try to be like, I'm so sorry for disrupting whatever the fuck this is. In my head, I'm like, do I U-turn and get the fuck out? Or should I go grab my keys and like just run to my apartment or something? I don't know, grab my laptop. I don't know, like, am I about to be sacrificed? Like, I don't know. So I go like, I'm really sorry. And like, I was about to finish the sentence. The guy, like the husband looks at me and he's like, I was like, they're sacrificing me. Like, that's why this is happening. Like, they timed it right. I'm gonna be on this table soon enough. Sorry. Like, it's taking me like a minute to take off my shoes because they're very anal about no shoes in the house. So it's taking me a minute to take off my shoes. And all I see, like in the background, like all I hear is them being like, and there's one of the ladies like super wrinkly with the candlelight, like terrifying, like rolling her eyes. I was like, I'm gonna get sacrificed. Like, this is what's happening. This is how I go. As I'm walking past this ordeal, I like in my, like I mouth it. I don't say it out loud, but I was like, like, I rebuke you in the name of God. Or like, I seek refuge in the name of God, you know what I mean? I was like, I am not doing any of this, you know what I mean? And for the Muslims, I read my mu'awwadat, you know what I mean? I was like, you're not getting me. You're not getting me. No. The way my phone's about to die. Anyways, while I was walking past and I was like, basically praying, the main person that was going like, blah, 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 she turns around to me, like this was like how she was facing me the entire time. Like, she's like, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, I see her go, and I was like, no, no, I rebuke you. I ran to my room. I put everything in like a tote bag. I start closing. I lock the door. I'm freaking the fuck out, right? In my head, I'm like making my last prayer before I die type thing. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I was like, I'm literally about to get sacrificed on that table. There's no fucking way. I'm in there for like 10 minutes, door locked. I'm panic packing at this point. All of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, I hear like a knock on my door. I was like, it's done. This is the hour of reckoning. It's done. It's done. I unlock the door like just a tiny bit, you know what I mean? Foot on the bottom of the door. And I'm like, hey. And it's a husband, right? And he's like, hey, I just... This trash bag just like jumped out. You saw that, okay? I'm not crazy. Anyways, the husband is there and he's like, I'm really sorry about earlier. We thought you were going to be out for a little bit longer and we were just trying to talk to her mother. I was like, oh, and that was what's going on? Like, you guys were just talking to her? Why was it like that? And he was like, oh no, her mother is dead. I was like, oh. Like, we were trying to speak to the spirits that know her, and then we were going to connect that way. but the woman had to leave because she said the connection was disconnected once you walked in. I was like, yeah, because I mentioned God. Yeah, I did that. Sorry, you were not speaking to her mom, okay? That was something else and it wasn't her mother, okay? You watch Hereditary. Come on, come on. I was like, listen, she wasn't even doing that good of a job. Whether it was real and she was actually possessed, or if she just watched like one horror movie and did an Oscar performance just then and there, I don't care. But that was really fucking weird and she was not speaking to her mother. No fucking way. Like, come on. Anyways, I left, okay? And can you blame me? I'm not staying in that Airbnb. No way. No way.
This is one of the scariest experiences I've ever had staying at an Airbnb. I have never felt such a darkness, such a negative energy walking into a place. You can't tell me from seeing the front of this house and the back that it didn't give Amityville horror vibes. It was very, very cold. So much so that I couldn't stay here. I ended up getting a hotel. This Airbnb was booked by a brand I'm working with because we were gonna shoot content out of this house. But dude, not even in the nighttime on the outside could I even look up at that window, because that's the direct window of the room that I felt the darkest energy in. And the entire upstairs has that feeling. I don't know if it's the lack of furniture, but I don't think that's it. It feels very sinister. This is a little closet that was boarded shut, sealed, glued shut. You can't open it. All the rooms were just like this, just empty and cold. But this, I didn't notice this until today when we went back to shoot for content. But tell me that's not a fucking handprint, like dragging. Why would a handprint be like that other than like, get me the fuck out of here? When the crew arrived, they arrived before me. They had already got my text messages about me feeling uncomfortable, and they said as soon as they went upstairs into this room, immediate chills up and down their spine, and that's exactly how I felt. Even rewatching the footage gives me chills. Something's not right about this room. I got a visual of kids playing Ring Around the Rosies. None of the crew wanted to stay.
Hey guys, if y'all are ever considering taking out an Airbnb in the Palm Springs, California area or Desert Springs, please beware of this host. His name is Gabriel, and he hosts one of the properties that we did take out when I was visiting back home in California. So here were the rules for the Airbnb: 6 guests maximum, pets allowed, no parties, events, no smoking, which is fine. It was just myself, my mom, sister, and my girlfriend. We were just visiting back home for the weekend. We were just gonna tan, bring my dog along. She's elderly. And then I think my sister's friend was coming. We still weren't sure. But these were the house rules. Okay, so some of the amenities included a gas fire pit, barbecue, pool, cornhole, everything was in line. It looked exactly like it should have on the listing. Maybe it was a little bit smaller, but that's fine. We did notice the first night that the fire pit was, it just wasn't working. It was not in commission because the handle was broken. So I sent a quick message to the Airbnb host. Hi, gas handle is broken on the fire pit. Sorry about that. We'll tackle replacement at checkout first. We heard of it. I said, okay, got it. Is there any way we could get it fixed tomorrow morning? We would love to enjoy it before we leave. If not, could we get a partial refund for this amenity? Host said no and no. I thought that was a little rude, so I did say, understood, thanks for the thorough response. We'll make sure to make note of that when we leave a review. Thank you for your time. Because I mean, he could have said, hey, unfortunately, but whatever. No and no, it's fine. He said, I'll be sure to make note of your retaliation, which is obviously against Airbnb's review policy. Amenities are not a structured service. I won't be bullied into refunds for minor inconveniences. Enjoy your stay. Bullied is crazy. The remaining messages are just regarding the listing. He was just making sure everything was fine. They were very copy and pasted. So this was obviously messages he wrote out himself. Everything else is just copy and pasted. How's your stay so far? Okay, so we left, and it was time to leave the review. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna leave a review. Obviously not gonna be harsh. It is what it is. I gave 4 to 5 stars. Gorgeous place. Interior was clean and cool. Communication with the host could have used improvement. We were unable to use a listed amenity and were not provided any resolution or accommodation. Otherwise, perfect visit. We've had Airbnbs before where an amenity is broken and they'll send someone out the first day. I feel like that's pretty common practice. This is the Airbnb host says, thanks for sharing your great stay. Your predatory refund requests were not welcomed, especially after breaking said amenities function. Guests should know the home is at full capacity and can explore recent reviews to confirm. This destructive guest will never be welcomed back. Also, I'm not sure what he means after breaking the said amenities function. Because how would we didn't break it. It just wasn't working. The thing wasn't turning. Okay, and then this is the review that he left on my Airbnb profile. I actually have a pretty good like rating history. If you look at my reviews, I'm always like rated 5 out of 5, pleasant guest, great. Like I always pick up after myself. I always read the house rules, everything. So this is what he left on my account. Hosts beware. Alyssa weaponized a minor amenity inconvenience to demand a refund, immediately threatened a poor review. Also exceeded the reservation party count and welcomed an unapproved pet on the property. Will never be welcomed back. Exceeded the reservation party count. So we put in 4. We did have a guest. My sister's friend did end up showing up. And then we welcomed an unapproved pet. It said that pets were welcome. It was a pet friendly place. So we did have a friend come and visit, and then our elderly dog was with us, who's like, she's a small Lhasa Apso. I mean, she's a lap dog, so she's very tiny. Not sure how she would be unapproved. She's very small. We picked up after her. We were very responsible about it. Disposed of all, like, you know, all her poop. But like, okay, that was a nice, that was not the end of it though. And then I see this at the same time. Gabriel requested 150 USD. Okay, so he requested this extra services pet cleaning fee. Not sure what you would be cleaning after. There's a cleaning fee included for this Airbnb. This is an additional 150, so I declined it. Okay, and this is what I wrote back. Good afternoon, we did decline the request. Rules said that the Airbnb was pet friendly and had a limit of 6 guests. Additionally, pet cleaning fee would not be necessary when we monitored the animal closely, and all droppings were responsibly collected as written out in the house rules. So we followed all the house rules. They said if you have a dog, you need to pick up their poop. That's pretty much all they said. Pick up their poop. We did it. We threw it away. Like, it was pretty simple. It was in the house rules. He sent it to us when we first got there. So now it's a problem because I'm weaponizing a dysfunctional amenity. God forbid a girl wants what she paid for. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to update someone. I just kind of feel like I need someone in my corner about this because it just feels really hostile. Not sure what else this guy has under his sleeve, and like I don't know, I don't feel very appreciated as someone who paid like a pretty high amount for an Airbnb. I don't know, I think this could have been nipped at the bud if somebody just came and visited the amenity. Not even that, actually. Someone just could have said, hey, like, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to send someone out there. We do apologize for this inconvenience. Hope you have a great rest of your trip. Done. I think it was the no diva attitude that I was like, sir, why are you being so rude? Like, this is your job. Anyway, beware. This guy's not cool. Like, born in the 80s, lives in Pinecrest, whatever.
So let me tell you guys about the time that I was harassed by my Airbnb host. And I know I never get on here and do this. Honestly, this is like probably the first time a lot of you guys are actually hearing my voice. So I'm sorry that this is the first story time I'm sharing. But honestly, from the beginning, it has been nothing but stress and disrespect. First off, I wasn't even able to check in on the date that I originally planned. So I asked the host if she can change the date, and she refused, which made me end up having to pay for a whole month that I wasn't even here. Then when I finally got here, a month later, the code to the door didn't work. So I was outside, locked out, stranded. The actual Airbnb had to put me in a hotel for the night. The host responded, but responded like 2 hours later. So honestly, I was like, you know what? The next day I came, I was like, I'm gonna check in. It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna just put this behind me. You know, I'm out on money, whatever. I was stranded, whatever, but I'm here now and I'm gonna make the best out of it. After I got in, things got worse. She started watching me on security cameras and reporting me back to Airbnb about random things. Like, while I was unloading my car, I left things out on the side so I could pile them up and just going on one trip instead of having to go back and forth. She said that I had unauthorized things outside. Then after I was done, the next day, I wanted to clean my car because I had just been driving for literally 28 hours. So my car is dirty. I have like a mini steamer and I have a carpet shampooer. So I pulled my car up because she has an outlet outside and I was cleaning my car there. So she messaged me, right? And she said, listen, your car is parked in a spot where it's hard for other people that might want to park there. Like, can you move your car? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Absolutely. I'm just cleaning my car really quick. And then when I'm done cleaning my car, I'm going to put it back. She reported me to Airbnb saying that I had a parking obstruction and I was unauthorized washing my car, which I wasn't washing my car. I literally was just using her outlet to steam my car and also shampoo the seats, as I have a service dog, you know, and driving for 28 hours on the road, like, you're going to cause a mess in your car, like, regardless. Then, with my service animal, she randomly messages me like, oh yeah, thank you for letting me know about the dog, but it needs to be on leash at all times. Which I just got here at this point. I only been here. Literally, I got here. I was locked out. I had to sleep at the hotel. The next day, I got here at noon. So she's messaging me maybe like 4 hours into me being here. And I went to go walk my dog one time, and she was on the leash the whole time. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, my dog's been on the leash the whole time. Like, what? Like, and she's like, oh, well, I'm happy we're on the same page, being all snippy. So I'm just looking confused, right? So I'm thinking it's going to stop there. I'm like, you know what? This is not going as planned. You know, I did spend a lot of money, but you know what? It's fine. I'm just going to ignore her. Like, I'm not going to see her. You know, I've been using Airbnb for like the past 6 years. So I know how it goes. I'm like, I'm not going to see her. She's not going to bother me. I don't do anything. You know what I mean? Whatever. It's going to stop there. Then I run out to go do a couple errands and I come back. Literally, as soon as I walk through the door, I put my phone down. I come back to my phone about like a couple minutes later, and I got a message from Airbnb talking about the host reached out to us to let us know that there's a massive oil stain on the concrete where your car is parked. Do you know anything about that? And I'm like, what? So I go outside. I move my car up, but like half in the parking spot, half out. And I take a video of my car. I take a video of the dashboard. I take a video of all the surroundings. My car does not have an oil leak. There's no oil light on. And there's no oil stain on the ground. So I'm not sure what she's talking about. I don't know what Airbnb is talking about. And at this point, I'm like, okay, she's trying to build a case against me or trying to get me out in some way possible and just making it really uncomfortable by like low-key kind of harassing me and micromanaging. And it's like, I spent a lot of money to not deal with this. Like, if like this is just unacceptable. And then on top of everything that I mentioned, there's no AC. I didn't know this. I asked her about it actually when I first came here. And she gave me this weird answer. She was just like, oh, we don't promote AC. And when you were searching for your place, did you put that in your search? And I'm just like, she's reaching and she's trying to like get the worst out of me. So I'm just not going to respond. The part that made me feel the most uncomfortable is that she came here at night while I was sleeping to remove the hose because I guess she felt like I was using the hose or something like that. And she didn't let me know that she was coming, which is a violation of my privacy. And it made me feel unsafe. This whole thing is making me feel unsafe. Like, I literally can't sleep at night because I'm like, is somebody coming? Like, is she going to just barge in here? Is she going to try to hurt me? Like, at this point, because of the way that how erratic and crazy she's been acting. And then, you know, like, what does Airbnb do about it, right? Because I'm documenting everything. I have pictures, I have videos, which if you guys want, I can make a part 2 and show you guys all the proof that I have. But all the proof that I have, I showed Airbnb that this place is uncomfortable, it's unsafe, and it's hot, like, you know? And what does Airbnb do? They're offering to give me a 3-day stay at a hotel or 7 days at another Airbnb, but this is a long-term rental where it's like I'm here for a few months until I figure out where, like, what apartment I'm gonna get or whatever the case is. So I said, okay, let me take the 7 days at the Airbnb while we figure this out. The options that have the same amenities that I paid for, that I should be getting, and it's in a safe neighborhood and good reviews, they don't want to give it to me because they're saying that it's too expensive. Meanwhile, I spent thousands of dollars to be here. So it's just like, so while I'm basically living in limbo because I don't know if I'm going to have to relocate, or I don't know if, like, while I'm gone, my things are going to be okay, or is she going to come by again and try to, like, hurt my dog? I don't know. So I haven't been able to work. I've been feeling, like, very emotionally drained. I feel stressed out, and I feel like I'm unstable, and I shouldn't have to feel like that. So if you're watching this, I just want to ask, please, if you can either tag Airbnb into the comments, or maybe share this with a friend that will share this with a friend, and I can get my story out there to get some type of justice, some type of resolve. I would really, really appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you for sticking it out this far. And just, I guess, let me know if you want to update on what happened.
Hey, bestie boo, you want a story time before I go to bed? All right, so go get your snack. Now, this story is kind of wild. So, boom, there's this couple. Let's call them Jason and Mia. So, if you know what Jason and Mia, tag them. Jason and Mia do a cabin trip every winter, right? And so, this year, well, not this year, but the year that they chose, they look for a cabin on Airbnb. They found one, they paid the money and everything. Everything is good. So the date comes, they drive out, they go on the trip, and on the Airbnb app, there is instructions. You know how there's instructions on how to, like, open the door? The cabin was, like, old, but not really that old. But it wasn't new enough for it to have, like, the code on the door. So on the Airbnb app, it said that there will be a key and, like, a lockbox, right? So when they get there, they check the lockbox, but there's no key in there. So they message the Airbnb owner, like, hey, there's no key in the lockbox. So the owner's like, oh, shoot, I'm so sorry. I'm going to send my grandma to give you guys a key. So they're standing there waiting, and while they're waiting, they're looking around the properties and stuff. The property. And the property looks just like the picture. And this seems like it's going to be very fun, right? So as they're waiting, an older lady comes up to them and hands them the keys. And this old lady had, like, a very unsettling, wide-ass smile. She was just grinning very hard for no reason. But whatever, they look past that, they get the keys, they go inside. When they get inside, the first thing that Mia noticed is that there's, like, a weird musty smell to the house, right? It's not, like, too bad, but it's very much lingering. And so Mia says something about it, and Jason is like, oh, I mean, it is a cabin. Sometimes that just comes with it. Oh my God, I'm doing bad. I forgot to tell y'all the most important part. When they were about to walk in, after the old lady gave them the key, the old lady told them that there was a door. There was a door with an iron keyhole. And the lady told them, whatever you do, do not open that door. Do not go through that door. Please respect that. So naturally, when they got inside, the first thing that they went to do is, like, look for that door that she was talking about. Not because they want to open it, but because they want to know which door they're not supposed to go through. So Mia tells Jason, like, I wonder why we can't go through the door. And Jason is like, maybe it's like a storage closet for the Airbnb full of, like, supplies and stuff. So she's like, oh, okay, cool. I think it's that door right there because it's the only door with an iron keyhole. So as soon as they find the door, they know which door not to touch, right? So they unpack, they're starting to get a little comfortable, and they settled for the night. They had brought a bottle of wine. They opened the bottle of wine. They just, played games, drunk some wine, and went to bed. As soon as they go to bed, strange things started to happen. The first thing that happened was that they started hearing tapping noises. They couldn't figure out where it was coming from, but they kept hearing, like, tapping noises. So Mia brought it to Jason's attention, and Jason is like, oh, it's probably like a tree branch or something. We are in a cabin. And Mia's like, yeah, you're probably right. Let me go check it out. So Mia is, like, looking at all the windows and everywhere that a tree branch could be tapping, and she can't find no tree branch tapping into anything. And as much as she tries to follow the noise, it just, like, she couldn't find the noise, but she's hearing it. So she goes back to bed and she tells Jason, and Jason's like, well, it's an old house. It's a cabin. There's going to be, like, creaks and stuff. Once again, she's like, Yeah, you're right. So they go to bed. She wakes up in the middle of the night because she looked at the time and it was indeed 3 a.m. She woke up because she's hearing somebody crying. So she's super creeped out. So she tries to wake Jason up, but Jason is all groggy and like half asleep because of the wine and stuff like that. So he's not even really trying to hear what she's saying. He's just worried about sleeping. So she gets up and she's like, I'm going to go find out where this crying noise is coming from. And turns out it's coming from that door that they're not supposed to go through. So this is giving major red flags. So she runs back to her room. She locks their room door and she stays up all night because she couldn't sleep after that. So in the morning, when Jason wakes up and Jason is finally like clear-headed, she tells him about what happened. Jason thinks she's being a little dramatic because like they're in the woods. There's going to be noises and stuff. But they decide to hit up the Airbnb host anyway to let them know. And they ask him or her, the host, they asked them, is there somebody in that door that the old lady told us not to go through? The Airbnb host completely stopped responding. Like they waited and waited, they stopped responding. So they go on about their day. And as they're going on about their day, they see that old lady that, gave them the key. And they mentioned it to the old lady. They mentioned the weird tapping noise and the crying. And immediately you could tell the old lady's face changed. Her face got so serious. And she told them, do not go near that door. Don't talk to that door. Don't do anything with that door. Don't go near it. Jason's like, all right, ma'am, thank you. But Mia's like, what the hell? Like, why do you have an Airbnb where I understand having things put away, but this is starting to be really creepy. But Mia wasn't trying to be a Karen, so she didn't say too much about it, but it didn't sit right with her. So boom, night 2. They go to sleep. Mia's on 10, but they go to sleep because she's trying to she's trying to gaslight herself into thinking that she's being dramatic. She made sure that they didn't drink before they went to sleep. And guess what happened? They got woken up by the same tapping noise, except the tapping noise wasn't just tapping anymore. It was full on tapping. And this time they could tell where it was coming from. It was coming from that door. So this time Jason is wide awake. So he's starting to be creeped out too. He grabs a flashlight and he goes to the door and he yells out, this isn't funny. Because at this point, the Airbnb host is still not responding. So Jason is like, this isn't funny anymore. This is not funny. Y'all are playing. If there's somebody playing a joke, it's not funny. After he says that, he doesn't hear anything. The tapping stops. So he gets a little closer to the door and he puts his ear to the door so he could see if he can hear somebody shuffling in there. Whoever's trying to play this prank on him. I just realized Haitians really do speak with a lot of mannerisms. I'm over here Anyway, so Jason puts his ear to the door to try to hear if there's somebody there. Mind you, they said that Mia that submitted the story, she said that this is the scariest shit that they have ever experienced. And every time they try to tell people, people don't believe them. Anyway, so he puts his ear to the door to try to hear something or somebody, and he doesn't hear anything. So he's like, okay, if this was a prank, then I think they get the idea. At this point, Mia's like, fuck this. I want to leave. I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to leave. So Jason is like, let's just go back to the room, right? So as they start walking away, soon as they're about to open the room door to go in there, the door starts rattling. And this time, it wasn't it was violent. The door is rattling. And at the same time that the door is rattling, it's like they hear nails going against the inside of the door. The doors. So the doorknob is rattling and the nail is going across the thing at the same time. So at this point, they start panicking, right? And at this point, it's this isn't even a joke anymore. So they run to the room. They quickly pack up their stuff. They try to take, because they didn't unpack too much. So whatever they had out of their bags, they tried to pack everything up. They grabbed the car keys and they ran to the car. They get in the car, they start the car, and they immediately drive away. As they're driving away, Jason looks in the rearview mirror and see that old lady standing there, except she was standing there with a little boy next to her. And they were standing so creepy. They were just standing there watching them drive away. So when they get to a good enough distance, they pull over to a gas station and they call 911. They call 911. They tell 911 about the weird things because they don't know at this point. They're thinking paranormal, but they're also thinking like there could be somebody trapped in there. There's something. So they call 911, and after they call 911, they go back to the Airbnb app to try to see if they can get in contact with the host again. Except this time, the whole thing is gone. The house, the listing, the chat, everything is gone. So at this point, Mia is dead ass like, is this happening right now? Is this like, am I going crazy? Are we going through a manic episode right now? Because there's no fucking way they just ran from that house that they just, stayed into. The whole listing, the whole thing is gone. So part of the reason why she went to the Airbnb app was because she was on the phone with the 911 operator. She wanted to give the 911 operator the exact address to the Airbnb so that they can be able to go there. So once she went on the Airbnb app and couldn't find it, she told the operator that, but she was able to like give the operator like directions and stuff like that. And the operator was still having issues, so the operator just sent an officer to where they're at, and they drove back with the officer to show them where the Airbnb was. Y'all, why, when they drove back with the cops, the Airbnb that they stayed at is a whole freaking abandoned house? At this point, they feel like they're going fucking nuts. The cops are looking at them crazy. The cops are like, are y'all okay? Do y'all need help? Like, are you guys okay to drive? But they know what the fuck happened to them. So they had to like, there's nothing they could do. There's nothing the cops could do. So they had to go back home with that. Mind you, that drive was long. So during the drive home, they're like doing research on that exact like place. Turns out that house was burned down in 1913, and there was an old lady and a little boy in the house that had passed away. Mia and Jason never found out how they ended up in a house that didn't exist, and they also never again booked an Airbnb. They were freaking traumatized. And when she was sending me the story, she was like, Blizzy, this is gonna sound fucking crazy, and I feel like you're the person that I could probably tell this that will believe me, because it wasn't just me, it was my boyfriend too, which is now her husband. After that situation, they went to different psychiatrists. They went to, they tried to get help. Nothing was wrong with them. Nothing. The doctors, everybody is saying that they're completely fine. Till this day, y'all, they have no answers. None whatsoever. And this shit still haunts them because they will still have nightmares about it. So that's the story, y'all. If you want to submit your own story, you have to submit it through my Instagram. Make sure you guys are following me on there and subscribing to my YouTube channel, because if they really take away this app, that's the... I'm gonna still be posting on here, but, I'm gonna have to go to one of those alternatives, Also, I want to have a lot of Instagram followers, too. I'm an influencer, right? Yeah, y'all love me.